So just a quick practice, 20 minutes or so, focusing on work we can do for scoliotic curvature of the spine, right? Scoliosis. So of course, always a great idea to check with your doctor, find out where your curvature is, how severe it is, see if there's some cautions from your doctor before undertaking any sort of you know, therapeutic practice. So, but here we are. So we're sitting tall. We're going to focus on opening up the spine a bit through some gentle movement, get a little space between the vertebrae, make sure that's healthy and working well. We'll do a little bit of strengthening of the back, and then we'll do some lateral bending to sort of work with that curvature back and forth. Okay, and also want some nice lengthening, right? So for props today, I have blocks. I'm sitting on one. I have a strap. You could use a towel or a belt or something. Bolster will be a great one to have if you have a bolster or a lumbar pillow or maybe a certain kind of couch cushion would be okay. I have a blanket and a chair. And the chair, you'll see later, it doesn't have to be a fancy yoga chair or anything like that. Pretty much anything you can put your hand on will be fine. Maybe a coffee table, maybe the arm of a couch, something like that. Okay, so starting here, and just take a moment to come into your body, coming into your present moment. And just right from the beginning, tuning into how you feel, tuning into the breath. What does it feel like to breathe in your body today? And from a seated position, we'll go ahead and come to our back. Okay, so back to the floor, feet down, knees bent. Feet can be comfortable width apart. Let's take arms into a goalpost position. So elbows out from shoulders, bending 90 degrees, backs of hands on the floor. Nice long neck. You could even kind of give back your head a little tug that away and set back down. Okay. And even here, before we start moving, just release. Identify, tension, fatigue, resistance. Sometimes I come to the floor and I find I'm like arching and I'm lifting and my feet are barely touching and all kinds of action lifting me off the floor. So just release and soften throughout the whole body. And then a classic somatic movement here. We'll go ahead, inhale. Just going to arch the back, the low back off the floor. Nothing too dramatic. And we exhale, let the back come back down to contact the floor. And maybe you feel your tailbone scoop a bit. And back and forth just like that. Inhale, arch the back. You might notice your chin starts rocking towards your chest. And then exhale, back comes down, chin rocks away, and again, maybe the tailbone scoops a bit, kind of starts to point more up. Letting the repetition do the magic, not a lot of force here, not pushing into the pose, right? Just going back and forth, cycling with your own breath. Inhale, arch, tuck chin. Exhale, back down, chin rocks away. And just maybe appreciating this cranial sacral rocking here too, as well as the undulation of the spine. And releasing that movement when you're ready, come back to neutral. Let's go ahead and interlace hands behind head, elbows wide. Similar but different. In this case, we're going to have our chin rock a bit away from the chest, press the elbows to floor. Inhale, arching the back off the floor, push the elbows firmly down, chin rocks away. Exhale, kind of just a little lift of the head and shoulders off the floor as the elbows come together and the back comes to the floor. Inhale, elbows wide, press to the floor, chin rocks away, back arches up off the floor. Exhale, back down, elbows towards one another, chin tucks. Again, Not a lot of force, not a lot of pushing. Just gentle, gentle rocking. And they're not sit-ups, right? We're not gonna use tons of core strength here. Really focus on this movement of the arms so that all the lymphatic system, the ducts and the nodes and everything in the arms and chest and shoulders are getting just a nice pumping, moving that stuff through the system. Next time we round up, we're going to take a gentle twist, so elbows towards one another, and then just twist a little bit. Point elbows to one side, inhale back to the floor, elbows wide, arch the back, chin rocks away. And then up we go again. Chin tucks, elbows towards one another, and twist to the opposite side. And just back and forth. Alternating your twists. How about last time to each side? And then just release. And you can keep your hands behind your head if you like, but just soften completely, let it go. Maybe even your knees knock in towards one another and your feet go wide. And just grounding here. Feel the support of the earth beneath you, the floor, the mat, everything there, just holding you up. You don't need to lift against it. Just settle down to it. And when you're ready, we'll roll over onto hands and knees. So finding your equilibrium here as we come up off the floor, and just some cat-cow, right? Inhale, arch the back, lift the chin away from chest, but don't like crunch the back of the neck, right? And then we draw the belly up into our cat pose, push down into the floor, back and forth. Again, now we're doing a very similar movement to what we did before, but now we're kind of working more against gravity, right? There's something different about these undulations and this kind of pose or this kind of action. And what you do, just sort of visualize the vertebrae. When we curl the spine this way, like one sort of the back part of the vertebrae opens, and when we curl into cow, the front of the vertebrae open and the back contract. So just a few of those. Releasing that when you're ready. We're in this cat-cow shape. Let's just do a couple side bends here. So we will basically, in a tabletop position, you're just going to kind of side bend. So your left shoulder, left hip come towards one another. Your right shoulder, right hip go apart and sort of get a nice side bend there. And then just switch. Right shoulder towards right hip, left shoulder, left hip rock away from one another. Back and forth. Just a nice lateral movement of the spine. So let's go ahead and do some bird dog or sunbird, depending how you learned it. Left leg extends back behind, comes up off the floor, toes point down, reach the right arm forward. And there's a lifting of the heel and the thumbs going towards the sky, palm to midline. This might be great. You might just hang here for a while. But you could also choose to bring movement to it and exhale, draw knee and elbow together, round the spine. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, in and up, and extend. Doing 5. That's the third. I think that was 5. Hold the pose, the bird dog, and release. Make any adjustments you like. Move your hands around, your wrists, your knees. Pad your knees if you like. This can be kind of hard on the knees. So when you're ready, extending right leg back. Lift it up. Extend left arm forward. Maybe there's a difference already. Left side, right side. Holding here. or going through the movements 5 times, knee to elbow, and extend. In and up, and extend. Third round. Fourth time, and fifth. Extend, hold, release. Hands down, knees down. Yeah, let's go ahead and come down to our belly. How about, so just go ahead and come forward. Even here, resting now. Again, a chance to release. Some of the work we just did might even have some residual tightness in the muscles. So inhale and just let the back body fill and swell. And then exhale and let it all release and soften. Even the breath is just a massage. So we'll take our hands alongside us, arms alongside us, palms down, tops of feet towards floor. Tops of feet can be hip width apart or just a little bit closer than that. Tops of feet down, point the toes strong. Inhale, let's just lift the feet and legs off the floor. Maybe just the knees come off. Maybe a little bit of the thighs. Lift, 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 release. Let's do 4 more. Inhale, lift, release. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. 4th round. 5th round. Release. Now turn for the upper body. Inhale, lift. Hands come off the floor as well. Peel the chest up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Feet stay down here. Exhale, release. Just the upper body. Legs are strong and working. Fifth time. Release. And now you guessed it, we're going to do all of it. So when you're ready, strong legs, point those toes. Inhale, lifting feet, lifting hands, lifting heart. Up into the pose. Release. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Inhaling up. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, lift and hold. Let's just stay here. A few breaths. Effortless effort. Maybe feel your shoulder blades come towards one another. Toes point, point, point. And release again. Forehead to hands. Breathing into the back body. And from here, let's press up into a child's pose. Okay, big toes touch, knees can be wide. Hips go back, arms stay long. Forehead to the floor or forehead to a block if the floor seems far away. And keep letting the hips settle closer to the heels. The arms nice and long. Breathing here. Let's go ahead and come on up out of that one, getting ready for our downward facing dog. So hands to the floor, firmly connect through the inner edge of the hands, right? The knuckles of the index finger. When you are ready, knees come off the floor, hips move towards the back of your room as they rise. Knees can stay deeply bent. Again, this is more, spine class, right? Knees can stay bent, better that they do probably. Step your feet as wide as you like, maybe to the rails almost of your yoga mat. And then we're just pressing through the arms, extend the hips back.
And let the spine just find some nice spaciousness here. Breathing here. As soon as you're ready, let's gently walk our feet towards our hands. Come up, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Soft knees. We rise all the way up to standing. And hands to heart. Just going to do one round of sun salutation. When you practice this without the video, you could certainly do several rounds. Let's just do one sun salutation. Again, brings a lot of symmetrical kind of action through the back body. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, big dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips down. Let's step the right foot back. We're going to just do a crescent lunge here. So right heel stays high, left knee over left ankle. Up we come. Extend through the arms. Bring that right hip forward. Exhale, hands to the floor. Stepping into plank pose. Core strength is key for back health, spine health. Plank's a great pose, as we all know. And then we'll just push into a downward facing dog. Again, step your feet a little wider if you like. Bend your knees. Lift your hips, lift your armpits. When you're ready, we'll take the right foot off the floor, step it forward, coming into a crescent lunge on the other side. Arms up if that's okay. You can stay on hips too. Your choice. Exhale, hands down, feet together. Halfway lift, deeply fold, and rise up. Hands to heart. And just in the interest of time, we're going to keep moving along. Again, if you're doing this practice on your own, you could do a whole bunch of those. I mean, 4 would be great. 8 would be extra, extra great. If you're kapha, if you're pitta, stick to 1 or 2. Okay, so here we are, standing. So let's do this. I'm going to do a triangle pose, and I'm going to use the chair for this one. And the reason being that I don't want to emphasize like trying to get to the floor and trying to bend down to the floor. I want to emphasize length through the side body and the back body. So we use a chair for that. Now you could use a coffee table, you could use a couch or a chair. A compliant dog might be the right height. I don't know, we'll see. So anyway, left foot's coming forward, right foot stepping back. We're coming into the triangle stance here, right? Front left foot toes pointing that way, same direction as my knee. All right, arms coming up. I'm actually just going to take my right hand to my hip for starters, or sacrum. Okay, so first things first, aligning with the long end of the mat. I'm going to reach through the left hand, far forward as I possibly can, and that's where you're going to find tons of length from the hip through the inner side body. And the hand's going to come to the chair, and maybe it stays at the high end of the chair. Maybe it's on the seat of the chair. You play with that and see what feels right for you. But what we don't want is this like crunching to get down to the floor, right? Want to keep some length through this side too, not just the top side, the inside or the bottom side of the ribs. Need some length and stretch and growth from the hip through the armpit there. Okay. Now the top hand, it depends on your shoulder. If it's okay with your shoulder, you take it up, reach it up. Right there, boom, boom, boom. All right, and if it's not okay with your shoulder, you just keep that right hand on your hip. We're trying to get some stacking here. Left shoulders down here, right shoulders on top of it. Breathing here. Again, grow from the hips through the crown of the head. Extend in that direction. When you're ready, come out the way we came in. Top hand down. You can bend the front knee just a bit. Rise up and walk feet together. Going to the other side. Same. Right foot forward, Left foot back. Arms up. I happen to have a nice, fairly long stance, I think, for triangle. Kind of got to know your body. So left hand can just be on hip or sacrum. Reaching, 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 reaching through the right hand. Again, maybe one side totally different than the other. Maybe the hand stays high on this side, right? Maybe it comes back to the seat of the chair. We're going to twist and open, bring this top shoulder up over the bottom shoulder. Long through both side bodies. And just adjusting till you find your sweet spot, and if you like, top hand lifts and rises. Breathing here. And as you're ready, top hand comes down first. Soften the front knee. Lift and rise up. And walk feet together. And just stand in Tadasana for a handful of breaths. Growing tall. Okay. On to the next. Let's take a strap. Or a belt or a towel. Strap, belt, or towel, whatever you got. Anything's fine. And just kind of take the hands wide up overhead. Now we're standing tall. Firmly root through the feet. Let the spine be tall. And feet are maybe hip width apart or a little wider. And just come into some side bends. So we're going like up and over. We're not just crunching down, right? There's an up and then an over that's going on here. And up and over to the other side. And just back and forth. Inhale, you can come up. And exhale into the side bend. Inhaling up. And exhaling to the side bend. And just cycling through. Let's call it 3 times each side for the video. And release. So one more standing pose that we'll do. And that is, with scoliotic curvature, even if you don't have much of one, you'll still probably do this. A lot of us do. We shift our weight into one hip, right? When we stand, we're always shifting, maybe even leaning on a counter like that, or desk, or you shift on the other side. Most of us are not all that symmetrical, right? So we're going to come into standing, and we're just going to do something to work on that little asymmetry a bit. So how about we're going to do right leg is standing leg, going into tree pose. So just come into a balance. Find that. Lift the left foot off the floor strong through the right leg. Tree pose, right? Your sole might be down here, on your calf. Or maybe it's at your thigh. We're standing tall. So even like this, you can see my hip is slipping out to the side. So I'm going to draw that hip in. That word I just said was draw that hip in. Probably didn't sound like it. Hands can be at heart, or hands could reach to the sky. Let's focus on this standing piece right now. Tall through the spine, crowns reaching up. Finding a gentle drishti gazing spot. Breathing here. And we always want to come out with intention, right? So take the foot off the leg, hover, and then release. Okay, and then just shake it out. Whatever movements feel good. Anything that feels right is fine. And then we'll go to the other side. So left leg is standing leg this time. Right foot's coming into the tree pose again. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's even toes down or touch the wall for balance.
This today, not so strictly about the balance piece of it as much as it is about the hip and the leg work and the action. So here we are coming in to tree pose. And again, this hip is bowing out, so I'm going to bring it in. And my hand's just at heart. Here we are, tall, tall, tall. You can almost imagine someone pulling the little tuft of hair off the top of your head, lifting you up. Strong leg, bring that hip in. Similar amount of time on one side as the other. Again, release with intention. And then, of course, any movements that feel right, totally fine. Okay, let's come on back down towards the floor. Here's a fun one. Now, you can sit back, toes tucked, heels high, knees bent. Might be super, super challenging. If it is, you can just take something, it could be a bolster, it could be a rolled up blanket like this, rest it between kind of calves or nest it there towards your knees, and then sit back on that. And it does make it considerably more manageable. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and take a nice wide strap up overhead and then back behind me. Up overhead and back, forward. Now, wider grip on the strap usually makes the whole movement more approachable. So I'm pretty wide here. Up and over and back and forth. I'm going to lift that strap to the sky. And if your feet are going crazy at this point, just come to kneeling. Draw your elbows down, bend the elbows, draw the strap straight back behind. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, draw down. I'm also pulling the strap from left to right. It's very taut. The strap is tight. And, a bunch of those, 5, 10, something like that. Release the strap. Last thing, if you want to do the classic Vajrasana pose, right? That's the toes are tucked, heels come down, hands interlace, push palms away, press up to the sky. And hold. Lift up through the hands, push up. Lift up, go up. And release when you're ready. Let's come to a seated pose. Seated posture. Okay, I'm going to do cross-legged. You don't have to do the same as me. And I'm sitting on a block, as I always recommend. Sitting up, hips over knees. Now we're just some twists here. So just take that left hand back behind you to the floor, right hand to your thigh, your knee. Twist, twist, twist. Let's keep nose, eyes over chest. So we're not just twisting in the neck, which we can kind of trick ourselves into think we're really twisting. It's really just our neck. So here we are. Okay, twisting, twisting, pushing down through sits bones into the block to lift and grow tall. And then twisting with that long spine. Twisting here. Keep the tall spine, keep the lift. Twisting, twisting, and just feeling it more into the mid-back today. From the bottom of the ribs up through the shoulders, just feel the twist happening in there. And release when you're ready. Any movements that feel good are fine, or even just pause and notice, the asymmetry. Maybe one side feels different than the other after that twist. And off we go to the other side. Okay, right hand to the floor behind. That's good leverage to get tall. Push down through sits bones. Lift the crown. Twist, twist, twist. Eyes keep looking basically where the sternum is pointing. Breathing here.
And when you're ready, release. Facing the front again. Let's just do one more forward fold. You can come off your block or not. Just take a nice deep forward bend. Let your arms come long. Maybe even have your fingertips down. I might have just walked off camera there. Fingertips are down, palms are up. All right. Folding deeply and reaching through the fingers, through the hands. Walking hands back towards body. Come on upright. So you've been wondering what the bolster's for. Now you're going to find out. I'm going to do just a little side bend over a bolster. And I think if you're using a bolster, a proper bolster, you're almost certainly going to need something for your head as well. So you can see I have a block here. Bolster, block, could be, like I say, a lumbar pillow and a regular pillow, something. You'll see why here in a second. So I'm going to scoot up in here nice and close to my bolster with my hip. I'm going to come to this kind of side pose here. Legs are stacked, knees can stay bent. I'm going to come down, down, down. I want this arm to be pretty free to move here and between the bolster and the pillow. And then I'm going to take this block to whatever height I need it to be, right there. Maybe I'll take my other hand out too. And just resting here. Now you could choose to straighten your legs if you like. And just sort of see how that feels, how it maybe intensifies the action. Don't have to do so. Another thing you can do, you can stay put and not do anything. You can choose to bring that top arm. In this case, I'm lying on my left side, so it's my right arm is coming up and over, and just bringing a twist into the movement. In this case, you notice I did rebend my knees for stability. Come on back. And you can just cycle through just a few of those. And you can stay put. And maybe once you start to soften into the pose, you can even lower that block, get a little bit more side bend. Trying to keep shoulders stacked, right? We're not curling into the pillow or into the bolster, right? The shoulder stays stacked. And of course, we come up pushing hands to floor. Don't use our core and our neck to fling ourselves up off the floor. We use the strength of our arms and shoulders. Off to the other side. Now this, especially if you have scoliotic curvature, one side will probably be different from the other. So just honor that and accommodate that. We're not trying to force it into symmetry here. We're trying to kind of encourage balance, right? So here we are again, leaning over, maybe taking the hands together. Again, trying to stack shoulder over shoulder and really soften around the bolster. Let your weight come down. Okay. And if you want to do that movement, I'll just do 3 of them. And inhale, bring the arm up and open. Notice my head is turning, but I'm not like overdoing it. I'm not cranking it to look at my left hand. Right, the head just kind of rocks gently on the block in this case. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. I'm also being very conscious of my shoulder. Inhaling up. I'm not trying to get this hand to the floor or anything like that. And back here. Couple breaths. Lifting, rising, pressing upright into a seated position. Again, sitting on a block. or something is advisable. And just sitting tall. Breathing here, let your weight come down into your seat, into your sits bones. Your crown lifts and rises. And it's your choice. If you're winding down your day here, you might go into Shavasana, or a really great choice would be legs up the wall pose, Viparita Karani Mudra. If you do that, make sure you have support under your sacrum. Legs go up the wall, bolster a pillow, something under your sacrum, shoulders on the floor. So hip, shoulders and sacrum aren't on the floor together, right? The sacrum lifts. So you just be in that pose for a while. You can see my other videos. I show it in other videos. You could also just do Shavasana, go straight to the classic final restorative pose, lying on your back and release. Otherwise, if you're in the middle of your day and you're needing to get going, just sit for a moment, take a few breaths, feel tall. Let the breath just kind of brush your spine like, like a painter's brush. Just the breath strokes the spine. And releases and softens it. Thank you for practicing today. Please send me any questions, comments, concerns that you have. I always want to hear from you, and I hope to see you soon.